released several solo albums. Jackie and Marlon were also active in the industry. Tito himself pursued music and even raised a musical family of his own. His own sons would later form the R&B group 3T, but none of it seemed to matter in the public eye. To the world, the Jackson family was a one-man show. Fans who discovered Michael during the Thriller or Bad eras often didn't even know he came from a band. They thought of the Jackson 5 as his backing group, not a band of individually good singers, and slowly, a divide began to form. Michael was orbiting a world no one else could touch, and while millions danced to his music, cheered his performances, and watched in awe as he transformed pop culture, Tito would only watch, supportive, but silent. The family had once dreamed together, but now only one of them had become a king. And kings cast long shadows. Behind the scenes, Michael's fame began to do as much harm as good. Jealousy, struggles, and silence. Fame doesn't just shine, it blinds. And in the Jackson family, no one felt this more than the brothers who helped build the stage Michael now stood on alone. As his star soared, the spotlight that once belonged to five slowly narrowed to one. And behind the glittering music videos and award show appearances, the Jackson household was quietly straining under a burden few outsiders understood. What happens now that the shared dream has become one man's domain? Insider reports over the years have painted a picture of friction, especially between the brothers. Publicly, the Jacksons stood united, but privately, there were cracks in the foundation. Multiple media sources quoted a family insider claiming that Tito and his brothers were crazed with jealousy over Michael's solo success. For Tito Jackson, the shift was especially difficult. He had never sought the limelight the way others did, but he had poured decades into the family's success. From playing rhythm guitar to helping hold the group together during tough times, Tito's role had always been steady, if not flashy. And now, that steadiness was being mistaken for invisibility. Adding fuel to the fire was Joseph Jackson's infamous parenting style. Even though the Jacksons were now adults, it didn't change their father Joe one bit. Joe had always been known as a controlling figure, and his tough love approach often drove wedges between his children. He was strict, demanding, and unrelenting. A media report suggested Tito was particularly hurt by a comment from Joe in the early 2000s. Joe had reportedly said something dismissive about the other brothers being jealous of Michael, and this only made their resentment towards their brother grow. The report came from a family insider who said that one day, Joe Jackson was heard lecturing his sons Jackie and Tito in front of their mother Catherine. He said, "You all sit around waiting for Michael, waiting for the candy store owner to open up the vault and make you rich. The problem is that you are all lazy. You all never worked as hard as Michael, so he doesn't want to do anything with you." To Tito, it wasn't just an insult. This was a rewriting of history. The pressure to support Michael publicly while quietly watching their own careers fade was a painful balancing act. And now their father was rubbing it in their faces, as if they had not built the family together and created the launch pad where Michael took off from. This statement from his father reportedly made Tito feel like he and the rest of the family were disposable. Yet all the while, Tito never lashed out. He just stayed silent for years, even after Michael's death. But
all right. Happy Father's Day weekend to all the dads, and you know, happy weekend to all the Father's Day dads. We still in anniversary mode, you know. I'm still got my smoking jacket on, you know. You know what I'm saying? Giving y'all some flavor, you know. And yeah, but I don't know if this true. It's like every time somebody die, it's always some kind of drama coming out. But on the other hand, or if you flip the coin, I would think that sometimes envy and jealousy does come up, you know, but you're happy for the individual if you love them and if you care about them. But it is a little jealousy, I believe, you know, that can ignite and um You see it all the time with groups when they break up. It's like you start, you grind together, and then either mostly it's the record label or some producers or some kind of management is picking at one of the members that feel like to make them feel like, hey, you're bigger than this group. You need to go solo or you need to do your own thing and whatnot. And sometimes taking that leap or following what somebody else says, sometimes it work out and sometimes it don't. You know, um, it's just a coin toss. So I would say, like they just said, how Jermaine went on to do his own thing. Jermaine became a solo artist and a respected solo artist. I think all of them should have done the same thing. So, you know, uh, maybe them residuals was good back in the day. And back in I guess the 70s, $1 million was like $1 billion. And now we're in the time that it seemed like it's easy to become a billionaire. It's like $1 million is nothing because really it's not. I mean, not that I would know about it, but it's like when you do the math, $1 million, the government want 400,000 off that bit, all that off that $1 million. So once you pay that million, the 400,000 off a million, you're technically not a millionaire no more. You a thousandaire, if you will. And I heard that term from George Jefferson, and he said I'm a thousandaire, goddamn it, you know. But so you worth 600,000, and I often play with that idea if I scratch the ticket, because that's the only way I think I would see $1 million in my lifetime is if I win it through Lotto and prayed on it. And I even told God, I was like, look, that would be nice, but if that ain't in the debt, because God see all and know all, and God create your journey, whether you believe that or not. I do. So it's already ordained where you going in life and what you're going to do before you do it. Your path has already been set, far as I'm concerned, through my belief. So, but you don't know that. That's the mystery of life. You can't predict what's really going to happen the next day or in the future. And it's kind of uh it's a gift and a curse, I think. Because we would like to know what's coming at us that's going to be on a great level, but that's why I never wanted to go to nobody that's giving me readings and all that, because they can't just tell you the good things that's going to happen to you. They got to tell you the bad things. So I don't want to know the bad things that's going to come into my life, because once that gets set in your mind, it's a mental breakdown of worrying or being worried. So take life each day as a great day, as a good day, and spend that time maxing the greatest thing possible out of each day. And that start by waking up. That start by praying to God. That starts by uh, loving on your family. That starts by going to work and get your money. which allow everything to maintain and be in rotation. Because without money, nothing is possible because you got to eat, you got to pay your bills, you got to live, you got to enjoy life. Everything is a protocol. So, therefore, nobody got time worrying about what's going to happen in the future. It's about right now. You feel me? So that's the way I move, and therefore, um, so again, I could see the envy that might have came between the Jacksons and and Michael, because Michael became the dude. He became the money, in the family, and they all benefited from it. So you better be quiet and you better shut your mouth at the end of the day. And if you so full of envy, get out there and do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? And I love how Solange is being her own artist in her own lane and in her own space. You know, she's not trying to compete with Beyonce or be another Beyonce. She her own artist in her own right. And she's respected for it, you know. Beyonce is pop, you know, R&B, and Solange is neo soul, as they would say. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, yeah. So you know what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, I want to believe it, but then you got to look at both sides of the fence. You know what I'm saying? It could be true. It might be true, but is it true? We don't know. We can only speculate. All right, so that's what you was hearing early on the video. Is talking about Tito Jackson before he died. I love the streaming podcast world because I love to hear what's on the minds of our greats outside the scripted dialogue. When you saw people on TV, they talking about their album, they talking about their movies, they talking about projects, and it's scripted. So the podcast world, really allow you to get loose and be free with your thoughts, and you can talk about what you want. You can really express how you feel, and it's no censoring. It's no restrictions. So this is a gem that has been created, and I like when the big stars or any stars get interviewed under the podcast streaming umbrella and be brutally honest, like Tori Hot. That is the name of her podcast. That's Kevin Hart ex-wife, his first wife, and her podcast is called brutally honest, brutally honest. I gotta say it a few times to really grasp it. Some words that you just don't use every day. It takes an adjusting to, right? So, yeah, you know, that's pretty much what it looked like. And so, yeah, but let's go further. What's happening this weekend? The DC Defenders um, is in the championship. They play the Louisville I want to say Blackhawks. All right, so that's what I'm. Okay, hold on. How is nobody talking about? Hold on. Let me show y'all what I was watching. What I was. Michael Jackson was not. I don't know what. So this is supposed to be Tito before he died. Confessions or last words or whatever. Once he started doing podcast interviews and you know, I think it may be embellished a little bit, but I believe some of the dialogue might have been true. But let's look up the DC Defenders. This is the XFL league, which is owned by Dwayne Johnson, Dwayne Rock Johnson, and matter of fact, I think he's a partner. He's not the sole owner, but he's the face of the league. And so they're growing every year, and they might be in a third or fifth year. And this the second time that they done made it to the championship, which will be the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So I got them winning this because they got a strong team, offense, defense, a great quarterback, and they doing their thing. Let me pull up a little footage. So I need them to win, and then I think they will bring luck to uh the I think they will bring luck to St. Louis Battlehawks. That's who they play. And in the no, they played the St. Louis Battlehawks in the finals, if you will. And then they beat them to get to the championship, and that was last week. So you know, uh, so we're going to root for them today. You know what I'm saying? And I'm putting it out there that they're going to win. I really believe that. You know what I'm saying? DC Defenders, play the Battle Hawks of Missouri. And they playing in the Missouri, whatever dome that they play in over there. And yeah, so let's get some commentary on what the championship is about.
First, I want to say how grateful and how thankful I am to be working with you guys, man. Like I told you guys out there, man, this is not just a me thing or I thing, right? This is a us, we, and ours thing. You got me? We won this game, man. I just told them. We won this game on Wednesday, all through the preparation of week of practice. When we put the pads on and we challenged each other. Thursday, we did the same thing and challenged each other. We finished it on Friday, man. And I saw you guys in your eyes. I saw the look in your eyes, man. You said, you know what? This game is already over. It was done. It was done on Wednesday. Saying that, Battle Hawk. Listen up, listen up. I tell you, man, you guys deserve it. You guys deserve it. You guys deserve it, man. You put the work in. But the job requires more. It's not over with. The job is not finished, man. It requires a little bit more. So we got to have attention to detail. It's going to be a quick turnaround. Quick turnaround, man. So let's make the correction that we got to make. We back to Audi West. We are back to Audi West, man. Let's hurry up and get out of here, man. All right? It's supposed to be some bad weather coming through, so let's hurry up and get out. Hey, let's pray ourselves out. Let's pray ourselves out, man. Hey, God is amazing on 3. 1, 2, 3. God is amazing. Who's Father?
Yeah. New era. DC Defenders. Let's go.
When your kid is hurting and there's nothing.
Okay. All right, so I think that was after the championship last week in the finals, and then they're in the chip today, tonight, and so we will be watching that, and then we're going to be rooting them on, you know what I'm saying, for sure, you know, and I feel like when they win tonight, the Commanders will follow up. You feel me? And yeah. And now we need to get the Wizards on point. You know, I'm tired of looking at that gold ring we got in 1978. You know, we need to come up to speed, because you know you getting nice big bling bling type of rings, and you know what I'm saying, we got a plain gold ring from 1978. We need to get updated. So you know what I'm saying, so Wizards, let's get on the ball. You know what I'm saying, let's get some good recruits, some young ballers up in here. You know what I'm saying, I bet you if you went on the court over here in Southeast or anywhere in our city and you got some street ballers, we will have a chip within the year. You know what I'm saying? Take the politics out of recruiting and recruit the best players, and not the you know the scripted type of players that you want playing on your court. You know what I'm saying? You know, that come through the college portal and all that. You know what I'm saying? If it was truly about the game, you know, teams will recruit from the street baller player, where, you know, where the street ballers be at. They be on the street, in the courts, in the neighborhoods, you know what I'm saying? Playing in the tournament leagues, you know, that is one for bragging rights, you know, like I was really enjoying the AND1 players, and I was like, these guys are so good. They like the street version of the Harlem Globetrotters, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, and you know, I understand though, it's big money being spent to manufacture an NBA league. So, you know, they gonna pick and choose who they can market and make money off. I get it, but you don't have the best player. LeBron is not the best player. None of them guys on TV is the best players in the world. You know who the best players in the world? The dudes on the streets can mop the floor up. That's why these guys that come to Rutgers and Bury Farms, the Goodman League, you know, that's our street ball tournaments here in DC. You know, the ballers that go to college and then go to the pro level, like Allen Iverson, played in all the leagues I know in DC, and then he played up the Rucker. You know why they did that? And Durant did as well, that I know of. You know, I know he played in our leagues, and then I think he played in Rockers. They want to know that they could play with the best players on the street level. You know what I'm saying? Because you master playing on the level of a manufactured scripted level. You know, you can't be flashy, you can't show off, and you know what I'm saying, you can't do your little tricks, you know. The league is about winning because it's big money being spent and orchestrated around it, and then the chip itself for the organization and the payoff and your reward is your paycheck. You know what I'm saying? So um but again, I stand by, look, some of the best players that I ever seen play any sport came straight out my neighborhood. If these guys could just go and try out for the team, they will make the team and they will run that team. But I done followed what's the guy from New York, Manigo, how he went to college, William, what is it, William and Johnson? I'm getting to college. William and Johnson, Marion Johnson, or something. Anyway, a coach recruited him, and then once he got there, the coach left. And the coach that took over didn't like his style of playing, which was a flashy type of game, you know, behind the back, you know, dunking and all that, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of these teams don't want you to stand out. They want you to be a team player. They want you to get the team involved. They don't want you to have 50 points a night. You get what I'm saying? They want the team to be collective and you know, and I get it. That's their structure. But the best players are not in the league. They right here in our backyard. You know, for instance, my nephew was on the 33 and 0 uh HD Wilson basketball team. Let me show you some pics. And they're in their 10th year of their record not being touched. And it's going to probably be 20 more years. And I say that because they broke the record from my high school. I wasn't on the team, but Sherman Douglas was from DC that played with Syracuse and the Nets, New Jersey Nets. And I think he went to a few more teams before he retired. But yeah, and what's so significant about what I'm saying is these kids come from the neighborhood and we got a collective of raw talent in our neighborhoods. And it's not like a college portal where everybody can transfer and you know you come from different places. No, this talent is right here in the radius of the neighborhood where you're designed to go by address. Okay. These kids that was on that 2015 championship team were all from Clay Tur's dwellings, 53rd Street, Northeast. You feel me? Right behind the school of Woodson or in that radius. These kids, shouts out to Trey Mines, who was the coach, who was at the helm of the 33 and 0 team, you know. And my nephew was one of them ballers that made that happen. And you know, uh a lot of the team went on to go to college, and honestly, one made it to the NFL that played basketball and football, and one made it to from that team. One made it to uh, he went and got his college degree. They both got college degrees. The two that made it, out of the team, that was on the 2015. One went and played football. Pernell Motley went to Oklahoma and got undrafted to Tampa Bay, played with Brady. And, you know, these kids are so anxious. He messed the ring up by telling his agent he wanted to get transferred because he wasn't getting no playing time. But you on the team, bro. Little bro, you on the team. Be patient. Wait your turn. But being anxious, which I understand, because he explained it to me. He said, "Oh, if you don't play or get on that field, they ready to cut you. So, you know, things gotta happen quick for you once you make it to the league. Now you gotta stay in the league. So by the buy that when the buy came, when Tampa with Brady and uh what's the boy name? Antonio Brown. By that time, the bye week came and they came back from the bye. Tom Brady was on fire. Them jokers went on a run and they won the Super Bowl. And my nephew, homeboy, Pernell Motley, asked to get transferred. And they shipped him to San Francisco where he got playing time, got on the field, doing his thing. Then he went to San Diego. Then he went to Detroit. So he was on 4 NFL teams, bouncing around. And then you know, he tweaked his knee or his foot or something. And once you become injury prone, they're not looking at you no more. No matter how hard you train to get back, you know what I'm saying? They just feel like, okay, you damaged goods. They're going to patronize you and pacify you, but so long, you better heal quick. And when you really not putting the time into heal and trying to rush back, you only making the injury worse. And then when you hurt it again, it's double damage.